Anti-immigration anger has been fueling violence in South Africa, but this week calmer heads seem to prevail. Tens of thousands filled the streets of Johannesburg and Port Elizabeth with a message of peace. They carried signs saying, "Africa unite and welcome foreigners." The marchers are calling for an end to attacks on immigrants and small businesses. Their calls are backed up by the South African Army. It was deployed, finally, after weeks of unrest. Even so, other countries are concerned that not enough is being done. The newspaper This Day reports Nigeria's envoy to South Africa has been recalled. And Arise News correspondent Adaure Achumba is in Lagos. Adaure, welcome, and tell us more about this development in Nigeria.
It appears Nigeria's relations with South Africa has taken yet another dive, this time over the xenophobic attacks that have been ongoing for the past 3 weeks. 7 people have died in those attacks. So far, no Nigerian has been listed amongst the dead, but about 50 Nigerians living in South Africa have been affected. They've lost their homes, they've lost their businesses, and of course, they are very scared for their lives. In fact, the Nigerian Minister of Foreign Affairs has recalled the senior envoys, Martin Chobam, the acting High Commissioner in Pretoria, and Ms. Okeke, the Deputy Commissioner in Johannesburg. They've been called back to Nigeria for consultations over the issue, and definitely South Africa is also not happy about that.
Adaure, meanwhile, the Nigerian government went after Boko Haram in the Sambisa forest this week. How's that going?
That's right. The offensive on the Sambisa forest is still ongoing, according to military sources, but it has had some hiccups along the way. We have had information that this was going to be carried out as early as April 14, which was the anniversary of the kidnapping of the Chibok girls. The National Security Advisor, Sambo Dasuki, made that known on that anniversary. And so in the last week, we have seen the military carry out the offensive. They ran into a little glitch along the way when they discovered that the militants had laced the surrounding area of the forest with booby traps and landmines, and it is, according to vigilante sources with the military had to retreat a few kilometers out of the forest, but the Nigerian military came out to refute that, saying that the offensive continues regardless of the booby traps. In fact, they have employed landmine sweepers and brought in more ammunition for their soldiers to continue on in that battle, even though we're also getting information about the loss of another town, Marte, back to Boko Haram. It was invaded by about 2,000 Boko Haram insurgents, according to witnesses. And so just to give you an idea of the back and forth that is going on as well, even though it is believed that Sambisa is supposed to be the last stronghold of Boko Haram, it is clear that the insurgents still have wider reach in that area.
Obviously, a give-and-take situation over there and ongoing as well. We'll keep our eyes on that. We've also been keeping our eyes on the Nigerian elections there that you folks over there have so aptly reported on very well. The regional elections, Adaure, what's going on with those right now? Because those are very important and key.
That's right. The regional elections, we're talking about Togo and Benin, and also in in Burundi. Again, the elections are throwing up one very important issue that sort of plagued African democracies, this third-term bid that we're seeing a lot of the African presidents wanting to go. Many of them subverting the constitutions of their country to pursue the third-term agenda. In Togo, we're seeing a dynasty that has been in power since 1967 with Nasibe Eyadema, the father of the current president of Togo, Faure Nasibe, and he is also seeking a third term after 10 years in office. And even though the opposition, very small opposition, is frowning at that, it looks like he's going to coast to a win by the end of the tallying of results. Again, backtracking on a democratic a process for that small country,
right.
Even though there have been some positives throughout his administration. You also have Burundi, where there's an uprising, there's protests going on right now. 2 people have been killed by police. In the same scenario, the president there, Pierre Nkurunziza, is also seeking an unconstitutional third-term bid. His party has nominated him for a third-term run. And again, it's a different dynamics at play there, because in 2000 the Arusha Accord was reached so that there would be only 2 terms after a civil war that devastated that country.
Right.
So it is feared now that his attempt to get another third term might throw the country into unrest.
Thank you so much. We've covered a lot of ground here. Adaure Achumba, thank you so much for being with us today.